Hey Exit family, for those of you who are new and don't know me, my name's Allison Smith. I am the farthest west agent that we have at Exit Sands Realty. I service from Panama City to Pensacola. I am a fairly new agent. I've only been licensed since June of 2019, so I am still under my year mark. So for those of you that are brand new, so am I, and I have started at ground zero here. I don't have any friends or family that live near here, so they couldn't help me get started in a way that some people get started. I've been doing virtual showings since July pretty much. I went to college originally for audio and video and ended my college career as an interior designer. So I have a lot of knowledge about video and audio editing, but also as well as interior design. I had a custom furniture company for 5 years before we made the move here. And through that, I serviced online e design, and all of my clients were out of state. So I've gotten really, really good at communicating with clients that are out of state, and I never even met most of my clients, and I've never seen my furniture in their houses in person. But I was able to design for them based on questions that I asked and how we communicated via FaceTime and video and things like that. So I think that I can be a benefit to you, maybe of how we can do these virtual showings with how crazy the world has gotten right now. Hopefully, we can be ahead of the curve just because I have been doing this for a little bit now, and I've been pretty successful. I've closed about half of my by virtual showings, so I've gotten good at it. The video that is the example video for this is not going to be the best video quality. It's not the best anything, and it's not my best work. There were a lot of factors that went into this particular video as to why it wasn't the best, but I'm using it as an example because your videos are not going to be the best when you start out. You're not really going to know how to do any editing, which this video has zero editing. It was all clips that I shot in the house and just put together. I am a perfectionist, so for me to produce a video or produce any sort of design work that is not 100% top of the game bothers me. But for this example, I wanted to give you guys this particular video because it is not perfect. My clients did not care that it was not perfect, and you're not going to be perfect because I am still not perfect at this. I am still learning as well. But what you need to understand is this takes little skill. I can teach you almost everything you need to know in this video, so keep watching. I know these D personalities. I'm a D personality. I'd skip to the end if I were you, but please don't, because everything that I'm going to say is important. I've had a lot of trial and error in this, and like I said, I have been fairly successful in doing these virtual showings. So please stick with me, and we will get to the end of it, and we will get through this. My tip number one, when you watch this video, you're probably thinking this is terrible. If you're not, thank you. But I thought it was not a great video, but my clients loved it. So, background on the video, I shot this video. They were doing construction. It was very loud. The construction workers kept interrupting my video. My phone was at 20%. I had to video and get it uploaded before my phone died because my car charger had broken, and there's little to no editing involved. I shot clips in the house. I shoot in 30-second video clips, and then I put them together at the end and send them a link on YouTube to view privately. They're the only people that can view this link. I do that for privacy purposes if the home were to be occupied. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and talk about what is a virtual showing. So let's just start at the basics. What is a virtual showing? A virtual showing is where you are showing the home to a client that is not present. Your showing is going to have to go one of two ways, either through FaceTime, Skype, or through video clips that you shoot and send to the client. I started my journey with FaceTime. However, my husband works in Greenland, and the cell phone options there for us to be able to communicate are terrible. So we had to get T-Mobile because that's what they have there, and that means I have really bad service here. I was in North Crestview with the showing, and I didn't have a single bar of service. So with that, my phone was dying, like I said, and it was quickly dying. So the video is much shorter than what I normally would have communicated with my client. I usually want my videos to be at least 10 minutes. That way they can really feel like they're in the house, but we'll get into that, like I said, a little bit later on. As back to the virtual showing, The virtual showing is something that you're going to have to create for your client. For those of you who are not creative, if you follow my steps, you will have a much better showing than what probably some agents are going to have around here. So it's your job in a virtual showing to communicate with your client everything about the house, from where the house is located, what the area looks like around the house, what the floor plan is in the house, if it's going to work for them, how it feels, the size of it, what the yard's like. All of these things are contributing factors, just like what you would do on a normal showing. That's what I want you to do. Make your videos just like a normal showing, and you'll be good to go. My clients are from Georgia. They were a referral from another exit office in Chattanooga. They came to me because the husband had gotten a contract position on Eglin, so they wanted to stay near Eglin. They originally wanted to live in either Fort Walton or Navarre. They chose Navarre because they liked the school districts better and the yards had more space. So that immediately told me that space was a concern. They came from about 2 acres. They have 2 kids that are fairly young, and they also have 2 huge dogs over 100 pounds. So they need yard space. Their kids are used to playing, and their dogs are primarily outdoor dogs. So yard space was important to them. We ended up not finding them a place in Navarre because everything, the week that they had to purchase, was super quick here. It's when like a million things. It's no exaggeration. There were over 40 properties that went under contract within 48 hours around here. Everything had highest and best. It was insane. So we ended up having to go to Crestview. So this property is in North Crestview that you're going to see. But I pointed out things specifically tailored to what I knew that they would like. I talked about the playroom, I talked about the yard, I talked about the kitchen. It was very important for me to communicate the floor plan because the wife has a very unique thought in her mind that she wants it to only be decorated in a farmhouse style and that it needed to be open. That way she could see her kids while she was in the kitchen, pretty much in any space that she was in. She wanted to see her kids, whether they were eating at the dining room table and the kids were playing. They also wanted a bigger living room because the kids have toys and such. So, bedroom size were also important to them. They wanted their kids to have a bigger bedroom that they could grow into. That's why I noted the bedrooms were bigger. Just things like that that help your client paint that picture. It's all about painting the picture. The most important tip that I can give you guys is that you have to have your clients' trust. Without their trust, this is not going to work. And I know what you're thinking. The clients that call on Zillow, you've never met them, you do not have a trust bond with them yet. That's okay. I spent 5 years of my life designing for clients and making furniture, shipping it throughout the United States as far as California, and I had never met my client. Guys, it is possible. You just have to get good at asking the right questions to understand them. The second the second most important tip I can tell you is do not shoot your video unless you are FaceTiming vertically in portrait mode. All videos need to be horizontally for this to work out. So please remember that as we go along. So let's go over how to start your virtual showing. The very first step in any virtual showing is getting in contact with the agent that has the home listed. You want to talk to the agent and make sure that they are okay with you doing a virtual showing. I know what you're thinking, that people have never heard of virtual showings before. I have gotten the only negative feedback that I have gotten from doing virtual showings is that people were just scared of them. They didn't know what they were, they didn't know how they worked, and they couldn't understand why someone would want to buy a house without seeing it in person. I understand it's kind of a scary thing. However, if you get good at it, the world is going to see. I feel like we're going to have a lot more virtual showings out of this. And the reason I got good at virtual showings is because a lot of my clients were military or they were buying second homes for family members and such. So after you get confirmation that you're allowed to go in and do the virtual showing, you need to decide if you're going to FaceTime or if you're going to video. Like I said, I prefer video because it does not require service and it does not require your client to be available at the time that you go into the house. Guys, this frees up your schedule because I don't know about you, but if you have clients that can have this short of a window and you also have a life, it can get crazy. I love my virtual showings because I can go edit at my pleasure and send them a link all before they get off work, and I don't have to do anything the rest of the afternoon. So utilize this when absolute possible. When you go into the house, do not start shooting your video or FaceTiming right away. You want to walk through the entire house, you want to walk through the entire property that you're going to be shooting, and you want to make mental note or note on paper what it is that you need to detail. If you see, detail everything that you see. The things that you need to communicate while you're doing this is you need to make them feel like they are walking through the house. That means you need to detail the floor plan. You need to detail what your clients will like and not like about the house. Note anything that you would normally note in a normal showing, guys. You know how to do your job, and I trust all of you to make the best decisions. So just tell them, don't lie to them. You do not want them to walk into the house after they have a contract on it and it not be what they expected. So even if there is a very concerning house next door, you guys need to walk over to the window with your phone and say, I just want you to take a look at the surrounding area around the house and make sure that you get a good look and that you're okay with it. That's all you have to do. They will feel 100 times better, because think about it. If you were the client and someone was showing you a house and you didn't know anything about it, you would feel like, okay, well, I know what the inside looks like, but what does the outside look like? What does the road look like leading up? I did not do this in this particular video because this is a new build literally in the middle of nowhere. There are no other houses right around this except for this neighborhood, and every single house in this neighborhood looks exactly alike. And my client had already drove by this neighborhood, so he knew what the neighborhood looked like before I actually found a house that was ready in time for him. So that's why that's not in there. But in your videos, you need to make sure that you're doing those things. Let's talk about how you're going to shoot your videos. So, when you go into the house and you've already done your walkthrough and you know what you're going to say and how you're going to flow your video, it's very important that you actually talk on video. I do not care that you do not like your voice. I do not like my voice. You're physically probably not going to be in the video because you're going to be filming the house, but it's important that you communicate to your client in the video how the house looks and feels and smells and all the things, okay? Be authentic. The more authentic you are, the better chance you have of getting this home under contract. And that is the end goal here, is to make your client happy and get it to close. So please be authentic and speak to your client in your video. Okay. I like to start my videos by walking through the front door. Sometimes, if the landscaping is really pretty outside, I will start my video at the road. I will pan slowly. You will feel like a turtle, but your pans, this is a pan, how you move your phone, it needs to be very slow. If you feel like it is too slow, that is probably correct. I filmed a little too fast. You will see that it kind of just looks like a blur when you go too fast. And I didn't feel like I was going that fast, but I was trying to rush things. Take the phone and kind of look at the flooring and where you can see, don't just look at the flooring. Look at the flooring and where you can see the walls. You want to pan up slowly so that you can see the ceiling and any architecture. And then you want to pan back to normal and then pan left and right. Now, this is when I speak to my clients and say, I am walking through the front door. To the left is this, to the right is that, straight ahead is this. Communicate that floor plan with them as much as possible. Talk about room size. I think I already said this. Talk about room size. Talk about lighting. Talk about windows. Talk about safety concerns if they have those. Talk about everything you see and feel in the house. You are their only line of communication for this. So make sure you do a good job, because the better job that you do, and if it's the right house and you know it's the right house, make that known for them, because you are their lifeline in this. And they will learn to trust you. The better your first video is with them, the more that they trust you, because if you hit every single point, they are game for you forever. I have, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I have not had a client leave me after I've done any sort of videoing for them. They have always stuck by my side, even if they decided not to purchase for another 6 months. They are still with me. Once you go through the house. I'm going to use a bedroom, for example. How I want you to shoot is shoot all angles of the house. And to do this without having a 30-minute video, you're going to stand in a doorway of a bedroom. For example, stand in the doorway of the bedroom. Do like I said, kind of get the carpet or the flooring and pan up, show all of the walls and the ceiling. Note if there's ceiling fans. That's a big deal. My husband is a ceiling fan freak, and he had to know about ceiling fans whenever we bought our house. So ceiling fans, point those out. Not all houses have them, and they're important here because it gets hot. So as you're panning, note closet size as well. Closet size is huge for women, so note the closet size. When you get your clip of that, stop the video, walk to the far side of the room. Diagonal is what I usually like to do. Go straight diagonal to the other side of the room, turn around and do the same shot, but looking at where you just came from. That will give them an idea of the size of the room from a different angle. If you have a window, make sure that you go over to the window and point the camera where it focuses outside so they can see out each window in the house. This is huge, guys. If there is a mobile home next door and your client has a problem with that, they are going to see that in the video. Or if there is a $1,000,000 home next to it, they're going to see that in the video. You need to build rapport with them through this entire process. Make sure you look out every single window, and make sure you're filming the backyards as well, because backyards are huge. Any irrigation system, and if you can get a good like little clip of the roof, talk about the roof too, because that sometimes is important to people, and HVAC systems. I also like to shoot if it's not a brand new house. This was a brand new house, so I didn't shoot it, but I also like to video like the HVAC system and see if I can find any dates on hot water heaters and things like that. Just so that's in there. That's all stuff that you would normally do. So keep up the stuff that you would normally do. Once you have done the main areas, it's super important to talk about the direction in which you're walking around the house. So say, you'll hear me say it in the video. I said the living room's here, the kitchen's here. There's one spot that it jumped. A worker walked in and I didn't have a good chance to reshoot it. So it's kind of jumpy in the kitchen area, but you'll see me say, going down the hall, you have the laundry in the garage. Coming out of the laundry room, going down the hall, you have your bedrooms. Just directional stuff, guys. This is all stuff that you would normally do. I know it's going to feel different and it's going to be different whenever you're doing this by yourself and the client is not with you. Just take a breath and just do your job, and it's going to sound like you're talking to yourself, and that is okay in this situation. Thing that I like to do at the end, if I didn't do it while I was videoing, is if there's anything that is concerning. Now, sometimes if it's like a big concern, or I have just a big pro at the end where I'm like, this is great, this house is the one, I will do like little spot shot shout outs. This video, I did not do it. There were some other videos for this client that I did do it. I, at that point, will either turn it to like me, I'll like turn the camera around to me and I'll talk to them and I'll say, hey guys, I think this house is great. These are the things that I have pointed out, and I think that you'll really like it, and this is why. The neighborhood is this, that. Sometimes you can even read off like the MLS sheet with it being you. That way they can see you, and especially if they haven't met you before, that may be a good idea, is just take like the MLS sheet and like video yourself and be like, oh, it's this and that. That may be a good idea. I've done that, I think, once to someone that I had not met yet. That way they could see me and know how I function and things like that. I also had another house that I showed virtually that the trim was not going to be fixed. They had reinstalled floor and they didn't paint it or caulk it or anything like that, and it was going to be sold as is, and that was up to the buyers to finish off. So I just did a quick highlight of that at the end and say, hey guys, just wanted to point this out. The flooring is as is, how it is right now. If that's a problem for you, we need to address that now. This may not be the property for you. Once you're done with the showing, you're either going to end your FaceTime video, or you're going to have to put clips together. With the clips, there are, if you have Apple, I have everything I own is Apple. I'm sorry, I'm an Apple freak. I used to work for Apple when I was younger and just got out of high school. I worked for them for a couple of years, so everything that I own is Apple, and I'm just really used to their products. But Android makes great products too. But if you have an iPhone, iMovie is a free app that came with your phone. It is already downloaded. I use iMovie for everything. Super easy. It's like the best, most basic editing software that you can probably get. We will go through iMovie, and there is one for Android. It is not made by Apple, obviously. There is another app if you have an Android. It is called Power Director. I will put the information for that up right now so you can kind of see what those apps look like if you need to download them. Now, Power Director and iMovie operate very similarly of how you import things. After I put all of my clips together in either iMovie or the Power Director thing, you're going to save it to your camera roll on your phone as one big clip. So that's the clip that's going to be your showing. This is only about 5 minutes, the one that you guys have seen, but I've had them be 20 minutes on a house that was $1 million home. It depends on the property size. It depends on how picky your client. Know your client, know your client, know your client. That's all I can tell you. The more detailed your client is, the longer your video needs to be. After, I think I said this before in the video already, but after I have that clip of the entire showing, and you did not do FaceTime, you did the video like I normally do, I upload that to my YouTube channel. Now, if you don't have a YouTube channel, it's super easy. You can get a private YouTube channel or you can get a public YouTube channel, however you want to do it. I started with a private YouTube channel. If you have a Gmail account, which most of us do, you already have access to YouTube and your channel. You just log in with your Gmail information on YouTube and it will create a channel for you. You can upload right there. I've had it take up to 20 minutes when I had a really long one to upload. Just know it's going to be based on how strong your Wi-Fi signal is or your cell signal and how long the video itself is. But I've had it take a little bit. But make sure that your links are private. There is an option, we'll get into it a little bit later on, for private links. We don't want to show anybody's house on YouTube for the public. Back to iMovie. I will start with iMovie because that's what I am most fluent in. Let me just pull it up. iMovie is that little guy right there that says iMovie. That's what he looks like. If you open iMovie, it's going to look like this. To hit that little plus, that's going to open up this. It says movie or trailer. You want to make a movie, so hit movie. So it's going to open up your camera roll. If you guys can see right there, that's the camera roll. I'm going to just pick 2 recent videos, and it's 2 videos of my yard. You just tap on the videos to make that little blue check mark happen. And then at the bottom there, it says create movie. You want to create your movie. It'll say creating movie, and then there you go. These should come in an order here that you put in. I only put in 2 clips for the sake of this video. You can play it to see if it's in order. If it looks like you're showing, watch the whole thing. Don't skip on it. Watch the whole thing.
So here's the house and then the water.
Once you've watched it and your videos are in place where they need to be, if they are not, you just click the video clip, hold it, and then you can move it wherever you want it. So that's that. When you're done and you've watched the whole thing and you are done, there's a little button up here that says done. Hit done. And then at the bottom, that middle button, the square with the arrow, hit that. It's going to bring up this screen. You want to save video, which is right there. Save video. Save video is going to save it to your camera roll on your phone, so you will have one long video of your entire showing. Now, the reason I do not shoot one long video at the showing is because, number 1, I can't send the whole thing, but number 2, that means I'll have to edit. If you stop every time you think that it should be a different scene, you don't want a whole bunch of this happening while you're walking to the next thing. So shooting in clips is just easier for you in the end if you don't know how to edit. That's why I'm not even going to teach editing right now, because I think that you need to absorb in little steps. So this is the easiest way that I think that you can get into it. I can teach you editing, but it's going to be a different video. So right now we're just in 30-second clips. Post them in there all lined up. That'll be your whole showing. You'll be good to go. Now, with that, you have the whole thing that you can upload to YouTube. So I'll go ahead and show you what the YouTube app looks like. This is the YouTube app right there, the one that says YouTube. You probably already have it on your phone. To upload, that's hilarious, the toilet paper. Sorry, guys, that's too funny not to keep in here. There is a little video icon up there. That's going to be your upload. If you haven't signed in, you'll need to sign in first. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. You can now see all the videos. So the video that you just saved your camera roll should be the next one in line. And it'll be just like this. You want to go to the top and hit next, and it will bring you to this screen. This screen, start to home, is my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel right now, because you are on my channel, so please subscribe to it. You will see a spot for title. I name mine the street address, leaving at the mailbox numbers. So, for example, this was Genevieve Way. I just name it Genevieve Way, Crestview. In description, you can put whatever description you want. If you have a note for your clients, you can put that there. The important part about this, you see where it says unlisted. If you tap on unlisted, you can see all of the things of how you can list this. Public, unlisted, or private. Keep these unlisted, guys. We don't want to share people's houses online. Location, I never put in a location. You can if you want. You don't have to. And then when you're done with that, hit upload right here, that little blue button, upload. That will upload. Depending on your connection speed, it could take up to 20 minutes if it's a long video. So just keep that in mind. Put down your phone. Be patient. It'll happen. But that is uploading to YouTube. Once it uploads, you will just take the link for the video and you will send that link directly to your client. And then that is your virtual showing. Now for you Android people, you can go into this app, Power Director, right there, that blue one. Same thing. This is what it's going to look like when it comes up. I already have a couple things in there, just testing it. Hit new project. It's going to ask you for the aspect ratio. You're going to go 16:9, and it's going to bring you all the videos that you can import as well as photos. Now, select the one of the whole showing and put that in there. Once you do that, you will see all of your projects here. You will need to hit, you can expand this if you want to see more or less. I keep it tiny so I can see the whole thing. Now, same thing, if you need to change a video around, it's not in order, you just click and drag, or you point and drag rather. But that's that. Play the video. You have to play the video on this app to be able to export. Watch the video, guys. Make sure it's what you want. And then there's this little thing up here. It looks like a film strip with an arrow. You want to hit that. It's going to come up to this. You're going to say produce video. And with that, you're going to select save to gallery. You can share it from YouTube right here. I prefer to save it. That way I have it on my phone all put together. And then you can just upload it the same way I just talked about. But save to gallery. It's going to give you video output options. I always choose 720 because it uploads a little bit faster. You can choose whatever you want. I doubt our phones shoot in 4K. I don't know. I'd have to check the specs, but 720 is fine. And then you want to hit produce. It will then save, and you guys can upload that to YouTube, and you will be good to go. If you have questions about how to get to know your client for a virtual showing, I have a few tips for that as well. Even if they come from Zillow and I don't know who they are, I've never met them, after I get them pre-approved, I get them chatting about what they like. I ask them all the typical questions. how many bedrooms, how many baths, what's the square footage you're looking for, do you want a specific amount of land, all of the normal things that you guys would normally ask them. But the aspect that I put on top of it to gain their trust is I email them a packet that I've made about the home buying process. And in that packet, there's also a list of questions that kind of just help. And if you've had if you have had any experience with an interior designer or decorator before, you will know that we ask a ton of questions just so we know how to design a space for you specifically. One of those questions, and people think that it's kind of funny and it loosens the mood, is how do you see yourself using this space? And they always laugh and they always say, I expect to live in it. That's great. But how do you like to live? Do you work from home? Are you never home? What Do you work from home? Are you never home? How do you want your house to feel? Do you want it to feel like an oasis? Do you want it to feel like an art gallery? What's your vibe? So, there's a lot of questions that can be asked about design that will loosen the mood. And it's not just about loosening the mood. There's a lot of questions that you can ask in order for your client to feel more comfortable with you. And if they have kids, and I think that I have bored you all for long enough. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. Our office is amazing. We help each other. Don't just sit there and not understand something. I really think that virtual showings are going to be something that we have to kind of be familiar with, and I'm happy to help you guys. If you need help editing and you want to edit, I'm happy to do an edit tutorial for you guys. I ask that we keep this with an exit. I don't want to be that person that says we can't help everybody, but we have an amazing office and an amazing team, and I would like to keep this information within our team instead of sharing it to everyone on the Emerald Coast, because then everyone's going to be doing the same thing that we are. So let's have a leg up and hopefully kill it and make our office known for virtual showings and how we can succeed in any market. Keep your head up. I know it's a tough time if you guys are locked in your house. My husband just had to go back to work, so I am a little bit struggling right now. It's always hard when he has to go back to work, but it's a little extra hard this time because there's viruses out there for travel and things like that. And we have no definite return date for him, so it could be 6+ months for when he comes back. So all of our vacation plans this year are officially canceled. So pray for each other if you guys are religious, and we'll get through this. Ask me any questions you have. Thanks.